Hello everyone, hope you're doing it. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are at day 19 of the December daily LeetCode challenge and we again have a medium level question in front of us. I will show you both Java and Python solution for this, and let me tell you one thing very clearly and very proudly. If you see here, I have Java and Python solution both, and if you see here, both of them are running zero time and they are beating 100% of the test cases. I will show you the solution which is even better than the lead code optimal solution. Okay, I got here in my first approach. I will show you the same, and this has something which is really about logic. Okay, you will get this logic only if you work hard and if you have experience. That experience matters, right? If you have been solving for 58 days straight or something like that, only then you will get this kind of cache memory. Okay, this is called a cache memory. Okay, this will not come while learning from books or while seeing just videos. This will come only if you practice. Yep. So coming to today's question, I will show you both Java and Python solution for this, and my solution is completely different. It's not something that LeetCode has provided. I will show you how it works. This is better than LeetCode according to me. Why? Because I will tell you that why it is so. But we are using minimal resources. We are using over one space complexity, and we are getting the answers. Okay, I'll show you the same. So coming to this question, it is 769 max chunks to make sorted. Okay, first of all, it's a question which is 0 to 1000 are considered the golden questions of LeetCode. Okay, remember that, 0 till 1000. So this is something in between them. Okay, 769. So this is one such question which is really good. Okay, all the original questions, that is 0 to 1000 questions of LeetCode, were like the first question which LeetCode created, and they were called the golden questions. Remember that. Now coming to this, if you see here the input, you are going to be given an array. Okay, and we have to return an integer as the output. Now let us see the question. You are given an integer array ARR of length n that represents a permutation of integers in the range this. So see, one thing is very clear. The input that you are going to get will not have any duplicates. It will have elements in the range 0 to n minus 1. Okay. For example, if the length in this case is going to be 5, so the elements in this is going to be 0 till 4. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. As simple as that. So that one thing is very clear. Fine. Now we split array into some number of chunks. So what is basically chunk? Chunk means a partition. For example, if you see here, let us say like we are breaking into this. This is going to be one chunk. Okay, 4 and 3. Now other chunk could be this. Okay, this is the second chunk. This could be the second chunk. It depends on your approach or what you are trying to code. But I'm just showing you one example. Chunk is basically, you can think of as a sub array. Okay, it could be called as a sub array or a partition. If you're aware of if you are, let us say, if your background is from the database side, you will understand the word partition. Or if you're not aware of those things, and so one example that I can give you is a sub array. Okay, for example, a sub array like this is called a chunk here. Okay, you split the array into some number of chunks and individually sort each chunk. Okay, so what that means is, for example, if I take these three as a one chunk, I will have to sort them. Okay, internally after sorting, what it will become 2, 3, and 4. Okay, I will do the dry run and show it to you how it works, and what is actually the question is, I will have done some work here. I will show you that. Okay, so for now, let us begin with the question. So what we have to do, you have to check, we have to break the array into sub arrays. For example, something like this. Okay, this is going to be one of my chunks, and this chunk you have to sort individually. That is, this chunk could be sorted within it. Okay, as simple as that. It will be 2, 3, and 4. For example, 2, 3, 4, and this is going to the second chunk. It could be 0 and 1. Okay, that's what that chunk is. And individually sort each chunk. Okay, we'll have to sort within that chunk. After concatenating them, the result should equal the sorted array. For example, if you see here, this, if you sort what we are going to get, we are going to get something like this. Okay, 0, 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Okay, fine. Now we have to break it into chunks, and what, see how many chunks we have to do, that is what they're trying to tell now. Return the largest number of chunks we can make to sort the array. Okay, as simple as that. So I will give you this link in the description. Just go through it, read it. I'm sure that you will not understand if I am studying from here, because I have seen the question, so I know it. But yeah, if you're seeing it the first time, I definitely understand it's not going to be easy. So let us see the example one. Okay, so this example, I guess, is not given here. I've taken it on my own. So example one is not a good example according to me, because the answer is not coming properly. But it's you will not get the whole idea of the question through example one. Okay, so we'll directly go for something that they've not given. So let us say this is my input. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to find the answer of this. That is, I have to return the largest number of chunks. Okay, we have to return the largest number of chunks for this. Okay, to make that a sort. Okay, fine. So let us see how we are going to do it. Now see here the fact. So this is the input given to me, and this is how the sorted array will look like. Okay, ultimately this should look like this. After I individually sort all the chunks, they should look like this. Okay, now let us see. Now just see here, if I take these three as my chunk. Okay, I have to take these three as my chunk. So what it will look like after sorting, it will look something like this. Okay, 0, 1, and 2. Now come to the other two. This is going to be my second chunk. Okay, so what it will look like after sorting, this will look like this. Now if I combine these two, okay, 0, 1, and 2, and then 3 and 4, it will look something like this. Okay, fine. So this is going to be the correct answer. Okay, now the question is, can you break it further? So if you see here, you will not be able to break it further. So now let us discuss how we are coming to this. I have given you the answer for this, and now I'm going to discuss how to approach at this. Okay, now see here. Come to the first element. See, the logic is going to be very, very simple. This logic is even, a lot given in LeetCode. So please pay attention. You will learn something very new here. Okay, see, you are at 2. Okay, let me write it here. The element that you have seen now is 2. Now, in order to make this as your chunk, what you need, see, chunk, you have to sort individually. What that means is, if I take these two as my chunk, okay, so after sorting, what they will look like, it will look something like this: 1 comma 2. Okay, they are starting itself with 1. Okay, that means it never be able to match this. See, this should start with 0, right? This has to start with 0. Okay, you cannot start it with a 1. Do you get it? Okay, so see, this will tell you how to take the chunk. The chunk should include 0 1. Okay, remember, see, the first element is 2, but what we have to start with, we have to start with 0. That means till you are not having a 0, you have to keep expanding your chunk. That is going to be the first hint that you are going to get from here. Okay, so please pay attention to my words. I am, telling you something in a very summarized way. Okay, you may pause the video, you may slow the speed, slow the speed of the video, but please pay attention. These things are important, and I don't want to take much of your time to explain this. Okay, first element is 2, but what I need, see, we will now see some cases. What will happen is, for example, let us say we have a 5 here. Okay, we have a 5. Now 5 is present in its right place. Okay, yeah, this is also 5. Now if you see, 5 is already in its correct place. In that case, I this itself, it could be a chunk. Okay, 5 in itself is a chunk, because if you see, it's already in its correct place. Okay, fine. But what we are seeing here is 2 is not in its correct place, point number 1. Now what is the correct place for this? Correct place for this is 0. That means in the first chunk that you are going to make, obviously 2 will be there, because the first element 2 has to be there in the first chunk. At the same time, you will have to include 0 also in your first chunk. Okay, so let me put it like this here. Now see, I have 2 here with me. Now what are the elements which are less than 2? The elements which are less than 2 are, okay, 0 and 1. Okay, 0 and 1. Now these also has to be part of your first chunk, because see, 2 will be passed. Okay, you cannot, ignore 2 while you're making the first chunk. Remember, I'm talking about the first chunk. So you will have to include 0 and 1 also. So what you have to do, see, you have to here. Okay, now keep moving towards right. Now you have 1 also. Okay, now previously we had 2, now we had 1 also. Fine. Next we have 0 also. Now at this point, you have all the 3 that you require. Okay, now if this will be complete, now see, what are the elements which are less than 2? 0 and 1. Now you have both 0 and 1. Now if you take this as your first chunk, you can, after sorting, it will look like this. Okay, that is why this is a valid chunk and you can take it. Okay, as simple as that. Now you are taking it. Fine. Now come to the other part. Now the other part is going to be like this. Now coming to 4. Now see, this is the one chunk. Now I have to again start. Okay, now what is the case? See, now I'm getting 4. Okay, so the number that I'm getting now is 4. Now what are the elements which are less than 4? It is going to be 3 comma 2 comma 1 comma 0. Now out of this, what is the length of the previous chunk? Length of the previous chunk is 3. That means these 3 you need not do. Okay, because I already formed a chunk, so these 3 you can ignore. So what you need, you just need 4 is already there. Okay, this is the 4. You just need a 3. Once you get the 3, you can form the chunk. Okay, as simple as that. If you see here, 4 is there, you just need a 3. Why? Because see, 3 should come first and then only 4 should come. For that reason, you just needed 3. Okay, now I will, from here I will just keep one other element, which is 3. So at this point we are getting 3 also. So these 3 can be formed as a chunk now. Okay, fine. Now this is also done. So now coming to the next element. Now the last element is 5. So what are the elements which are less than 5? Again, same thing, it's 4 comma 3 comma 2 comma 1 comma 0. Okay, now out of all these, what are the elements that we have seen till now? We have seen till 4. Okay, we have seen till 4, so you can remove all of them. That is, 5 in itself could be formed as a chunk, because it's already in its correct position. Okay, so that is going to be the basic idea. Okay, fine. So 5 in itself is going to be the chunk. Okay, in this case, if you see, the last chunk that you are going to get is 5. Okay, as simple as that. So this is how you have to do. Okay, based on the first element. Okay, you have to decide how many elements you need now. Okay, so see, topic is very clear. Here to form the first element. Now we have to keep proceeding till you get all the elements which are less than your max element. Okay, as simple as that. Next, after you are done, you have to again start. Now the first element that you're now seeing is 4. So you have to keep proceeding till you get all the elements which are less than 4. But obviously, they once if you have covered them in some other chunk, that is fine. So you need not include them again. Okay, as simple as that. So let me take you now one of the text examples, and then we will see this. Okay, let me take this and we will see how this works. Okay, let me okay, want to do one thing. I will just remove this. I will light it here. Okay, I will just teach you this example now. So see here, what we are doing first, I'm going to start from 1. Okay, this is my first element. Now since I need a 0, okay, if I need a 0, okay, so till I get a 0, I have to keep expanding my chunk. Okay, now at this point I got the 0 also. Okay, so now I am done. So this is going to be my first chunk. Okay, 1 and 0 are going to be my first chunk. Fine. Next I will proceed and I will come to 2. Now, if you see here 2 is already there in its correct place, so it is a chunk in itself. Okay, because all the elements which are less than 2 are already part of the other chunk. So 2 in itself is a chunk. Okay, simple as that. Same is for 3. 3 in itself is a chunk because all the elements less than 3 are already part of some other chunk. Same with the case for 4. 4 is already there in the part of other chunk. Okay, 5 is not required because in this 5 is not there. Okay, as simple as. So this is going to be my logic. If I can show it in terms of code, this is how it will look. I am okay. Just a second. Yeah. So I hope like today I'm speaking slowly because you know I've seen a lot of comments that you want me to speak slowly so that you can understand better. See, my aim is very simple. I want to make the video as short as possible. You always have the option to slow the speed of the video. Okay, that is my intention. But yeah, if you want, I can speak slowly also. See this part. So these are going to be the 4 variables that I will be using. Okay. Uh, See here, first is going to be the number of chunks. Okay, this is going to be my answer at last. Okay, if you see the last, this is how I am going to return the answer. Okay, fine. Now, if you see the other parts, this is going to tell me the total elements in chunk. Okay, for example, in each chunk that we are currently adding elements to, this will tell me how many elements are there currently in this. Okay, remember one thing which is very important for my solution is that if you see, the elements are not going to repeat in this range. Okay, for that reason I am not using a set. Instead of a set, I am just using this to store my number of elements that I have visited till now. Okay, total elements in my chunk currently in the current chunk. Next, maximum element of the current chunk. Okay, initially it will be -1. See, this is where it will be. Okay, here if we saw, where we saw it is 2 is coming. So this is going to be the max element in my chunk. Okay, based on the max element, we'll decide how many elements are needed for my current chunk. Okay, as simple as that. For example, the maximum element is 4. See, in this example one, if you see, the max element is 4 in the example one. That means I have to get all the elements, that is 3 2 1 0, all of them should be part, all till all of them are visited. I cannot mark my first chunk as completed. Okay, so I have to keep all of them as the single chunk. Okay, that is the reason why you said written one is the answer. Okay, as simple as that. So for that reason, we need that max element also in the chunk. Okay, every time it will be -1 if we have completed one chunk, or we are going to start from the scratch. Okay, it will be -1. So this will tell me how many elements are there in my chunk. This is going to be the final answer, and yeah, this will be important from the second chunk onwards. Okay, this will tell me how many chunks are already added to the other chunks in the previous chunk that we listed. How many chunks, that is elements, are added to them. This will tell me for the next chunk which I'm targeting, how many elements are needed in the next chunk. Okay, as similar that. For example, if you see here, in this case, like once this is done, that this will tell me like there are 3 elements in my previous chunk. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, so when we are starting with 4, okay, for 4, if you see what are the elements which are less than 4, 3 to 1 and 0. So instead of 3 to 1 and 0, I will not try to get this again. Okay, because 2 1 0 is already there in the previous chunk. So what I will need only 4 and 3. Okay, so I will target only these two. Once I get these two, I will close the second chunk, and so on. Okay, this is the basic idea behind this. Now let us see what we are doing. Yep. Yeah, I'm starting. I'm going through each element in the array. Okay. Then I'm just doing this maximum element of chunk is equal to max of the previous max, comma the current. Okay. The previous max, comma the current element. Okay. If the current element has a bigger value, this will be updated accordingly. Okay. Then I'm going to do a +1 of the total elements in my chunk. Okay. As simple as that. Next, I'm checking whether the total element in chunk is equal to max element of the chunk +1. See why I'm doing +1. See here. For example, if you if you talk about this case, 2 1 and 0. See, the maximum element is 2. Okay. But how many elements are going to be there? Say 0, 1, and 2. So total 3 elements. So if the maximum element is 2, there has to be 3 elements. So that is the reason why I'm doing a +1. Okay. Max element of chunk +1 minus total elements in the various chunks. Okay. That is in the previous chunks, how many elements we have seen. Okay. See, this will be relevant only when we are going for the second chunk, third chunk, fourth chunk, and so on. For the first chunk, this will always be 0. Okay. So this will actually help me in the second chunk. If you see here, when we are at 4, we already know that 2, 1, and 0 are done. Okay. So I only need to target for the elements between 4 and 2. Okay, that is excluding 2. I need to target 3 and 4 only. Okay, so once I get 3 and 4, I am done. Okay, to close my second chunk and so on. For that reason, this will be important. Okay, next, once we are this condition is satisfied, that means we are done with the our chunk. Okay, so what I have to do, number of chunks is equal to number of chunks +1. I'm just incrementing my number of chunks, total elements in various chunks. Okay, they have to just see whatever elements were there in the current chunk, I have to add them to this. Okay, whatever elements are there in my current chunk, I have to add into this total elements in various chunks. Okay, and then I'm resetting the values. Okay, total elements in current chunk is equal to 0, max element of current chunk is equal to -1. Okay, I'm just printing them. You can also print it basically, so this will help you understand how this is working. I've not given the strings. I'm not giving this is I, this is the thing. So that's why if you want, you can take that and you can try it out how it is working. Okay, as simple as that. And finally, we're writing the total number of chunks. So let me quickly run this and show you. So as you can see, this is clearing all the test cases, and as I have already shown you, this is beating 100% of the solutions. Okay, remember both Python and Java. Normally Java will beat, but Python will not be beating 100%. But this is one such solution; it is beating 100%. Okay, so that is why I was mentioning it is even better than the LeetCode optimal solution that they have shown. Okay, now coming to the Java part, exactly we'll do the same in Java. Okay, let me zoom out first. I hope you are clear with the logic. Okay? Logic building is more important than the programming language, because in this type of question, we are not doing much. We are not using much in the programming language. Remember that we are not using any data structure as such. We are just doing a formal traversing the array, and we are doing the calculations. So if we see here, it is exactly the same in the Java solution also. These are the variables that I will be using. Their name and their function is exactly same as that of the Python solution. Okay, I will be going through each element of the array, and then I will be updating my max element of the chunk, and then I will be updating the total element in the chunk by, that is, I will be incrementing it. Okay, as simple as that. Then when this condition is satisfied, okay, this condition will be satisfied only, for example, if we are the first element is 2, then it will be satisfied only when we have 1 and 0 also visited. Okay, as simple as that. So depending on the total element, okay, depending on the max element, okay, it will be decided. Okay, as simple as that. So yep, and one more thing is, it is not going to repeat. Okay, the elements are not going to repeat. For that reason, I can blindly do a plus one. Remember, previously I was trying a set operation. Okay, that I was adding them to the set, so that even if they are repeated, I could add them. But then I realized set is not needed, because here the elements are not going to repeat. Okay, as similar as that. So I'm making use of that fact. Okay, this will help you a lot in your space complexity. Remember that this solution that I'm showing you, it has O of 1 space complexity in both Java and Python, and the time complexity is going to be O of n. Okay, so to get O of 1 complexity, it's very important that you use only the standard variables. Okay, and you don't use any array or any such data structure. As simple as that. So this is the same. When this condition is satisfied, that means we are done with the chunk, and we are going to update these things. Okay, these two things we are updating, these two things we are resetting. Okay, as simple as that. And ultimately, when we come out of this particular while loop, for loop, we are going to return this. Okay, since there is only one for loop, so time complexity is O of n. Space complexity, since we are not using any such variable which is dependent on n. Okay, any such space related variable which is dependent on n. So it is going to be O of n. So yeah, and that was all for this video. Again, I want to see the kind of solution that we are having. It is 1,000 times better than the other solutions, because it is 100 beating 100% of the solutions. And remember one thing: this is not a new question. Okay, as I mentioned in the starting itself, this is 769. Okay, this is not a new question. For new questions, what happens is, like, the number of people who have segmented, the solution is very very less. That's why you may get 100%. That is coded with 100% of the test cases. You may get that. Okay, for the new solutions. But in this case, this is not a new solution. Still, if your code is able to beat 100%, this is not a small thing. Remember that part. Okay, this is not a small thing. If you're able to beat 100% of the solutions, okay, when the question is within the first 1,000 questions, okay, that is really considered as a big achievement. Okay, in my college days, this was considered as a big achievement. Okay, remember that part. So yeah, that was all for this video. We see, normally what will happen is, see, what people will do, they will do is, they will think that, okay, let me take the sum. Okay, for example, they will keep taking the sum, and if the sum is what they will do is, they will do the prefix sum and the suffix sum. Okay, I've seen similar solutions. Okay, while I was thinking, I was also thinking in a similar line that, yeah, we can do prefix sum and suffix sum. Okay, how that will work? See, for the answer, okay, let me go to Python first. Yep, what they're doing is, see, this is how the answer will look like, right? So they will do the prefix sum of this. Okay, prefix sum basically means, for each index we'll be storing the sum. That is, we will be storing the sum of all the values to the left. Okay, towards the left. For example, if we're at 3, okay, let me zoom in. If we are at 3, we'll be storing sum of all the values which are at towards the left. Okay, similar to that. What will happen in that is, if we are traversing the original array which they have given, if we are able to meet the answer for that particular index, that is the prefix sum of that particular index, that means we can say, for example, see, the sum of these three and the sum of these three is same. Okay, that means if at this point I realize that the sum of, when I'm at this particular index, I will be summing up all the values in here, and when at this point I realize the sum of this is equal to the sum of this, that means I can say we have found the first chunk. Okay, that is what they were doing. That is a good solution, but yeah, you will have to spend off and that to store the prefix sums. First challenge. Second thing is, you will have to already pass through one time. We have already passed through the array one time. That is, again, you have to do off and for passing the array, and off and for, again, like, checking the original array. Okay, simple as that. So time complexity, though it is off and, but you are doing 2 3 traversals. Okay, in my case, if you see, I am only doing one traversal. Okay, remember, see, this is the difference. Okay, other thing is that when you're storing the sum, okay, it is highly likely, see, in this case, okay, the numbers are very less. Okay, but when you're storing the sum, it is highly likely that you may need some more space. Okay, integer will not be enough. If you see the Java solution, integer will not be just enough. Okay, I see, in my variables all are integers. You may need some other big variables, such as like long data type. If you are storing the sums, okay, that is the prefix sum or the suffix sum, you may need them. Okay, if you're taking int and storing the sum, that is not a good idea. Remember that the interviews also. So irrespective of what is the given, see, interviews will not be given this kind of things. Remember that. In that case, we are already expected to use the best. Okay, for the every case scenario. Okay, not just the constraint. constant. You will not have be giving given constraints in the interviews, remember that part, most of the interviews. So for that reason also I will say my solution is better compared to that solution where the prefix sum is used, because the sum itself will take a lot of huge of amount of memory. At the same time, to compute the prefix sum, you will have to create array to store that there, and you also need some multiple other iterations to capture that. Okay, as simple as that. So for that reason also the solution is much better than them. So yeah, that was all for today. Go through this solution, try to see how why it is better than other solutions, and be proud of yourself that, yeah, see, I will say the same thing that, see, to get this kind of solution you have need to have a very very open mindset. Okay, you should not be dependent that you should not be able to do it, or let me see the solution of the how other people are solving and doing it. So you should not be doing that. Be very very confident about yourself. Keep practicing. I'm sure that you will also be able to reach this kind of solution one day. Okay, this is not hard question. This you can solve using multiple ways. Why? Because see the constants you see here, these are very very easy. Okay, still, I if you are following my videos, I will expect from you that always try to do the optimal solution only. Okay, as simple as that. Even if it is an easy question, you should be trying for open solution. Okay, and if the binary search is involved, the solution even can be log n times. So yeah, fun, that was all for this particular video. If you like my efforts, if you like this kind of solutions, if you want to learn something which is not there in this lead code, okay, so for that reason you will have to do some hard work. Okay, remember, if you are following what is already given, you will only be able to reach what others have reached. If you are trying to reach somewhere where others have not reached, you will have to leave these kind of things and start making your own choices. Okay, as simple as that. So yeah, that was all for this video. I hope you like this kind of content. Please subscribe to the channel. This really gives a lot of motivation to continue further. I see a lot of people just copying and pasting the solutions which they get from some other sources, and they're making videos out of that. I really don't like them. They're having thousands of subscribers, but I don't like that work. Only if I have a good solution to show, I will only then create the video. Otherwise I will not create the video. That is my logic, and I am following that logic for a long time. But yeah, I understand that is not a good idea, because if you see my subscribers, it is very very less compared to people who know simply copying the solution given by LeetCode or some other platform, and they're pasting the same. I am not doing that because I feel I should also learn from this journey. Okay, if I am simply doing a copying pasting work, then what is the use of my existence? Okay, that is not something good. I'm not utilizing my time properly if I'm doing that. That is my ideology. So if you like my efforts, please subscribe to the channel. This really gives a motivation that yeah, we are doing something which is helping others. Okay, because if I show you some solution which you already might be knowing, okay, that is no use. Okay, then I'm simply wasting the storage space of YouTube. I can say that. I don't want to do that. If you like my solutions, please upvote, please subscribe, so that I can continue further, so that I can get a hint that yeah, it is helping someone. See you tomorrow. Thanks a lot.